Not again, man. Move your body, old man.
Jimmy.
Hello, lad. Hey, nosy ass.
Here's what I owe you.
Hang on. Time to step up, lad. It's 500 there.
Fucking hell, 500 garries. I can't afford that, mate.
Look, lad, they're on strap. You can take them and pay me tomorrow, you know. You're all right.
It's a lot of pills, Jimmy.
If you don't want the graft, you know, someone else will have it.
All right.
And hey, don't go feeding them to the ducks.
What?
Give them to the birds for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul, 5 grand, you owe me, you know, right? Don't fuck me about. Cheeky cunt.
Is that how it would play out, John?
Yeah, but me being a cheeky fucker, I'd have asked for a lot more than that.
Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
What comes up if you Google your name?
Oh, actually, it's at the top here, John Burton, Liverpool, yeah. Ex-crime boss, fucking juice bomb John.
Where's that nickname come from?
I was putting that many steroids in me, it was either one rip or juice bomb John. See, he's not being funny, but you look at that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't even look anything like me. Growing up, I knew where I was going. You had school and football, or you had heroin, drug dealing or criminality, and that's the route I took. You were cheeky like growing up, and no matter what, we'd be out grafting. Going out, doing little burglaries on shops and stuff like that. If you got a few quid to buy a little half-ounce of weed, then we were all young, that's all we wanted to do was get stoned. One of my mates used to have a shed, and we used to sit in the shed getting stoned every night. You'd be sitting in there listening to Dark Side of the Moon or Pink Floyd The Wall, and you know what, they were great tunes when you were growing up, weren't they? I mean, we used to have a little hatch in it as well. You'd get a little knock on the side of the shed, a little, what do you want? Just a fivers, please. I think on our estate there must have been at least 100 between like 13, 14 and 15 in the 80s. Me and my mates used to just all hang around together. You'd mind cars on the estate when there was a match game.
Minding cars for what?
Stop them getting smashed while they're at the match.
Would it be just stopping you lot from breaking in and stealing them?
Well, if they didn't fucking pay us, then yeah. There weren't many jobs in Liverpool in the early 80s, and heroin was taking control of the city. So it was basically, you just had to fend for yourself. So this was our estate here, where we were all sort of brought up. We moved on here in 1977. Fun, fights, trouble. I loved where we grew up.
And did heroin hit this side?
Yeah, heroin was terrible on here. Anyone who went on that stuff, you knew within a couple of months that the lives would be up the wall. Nice coat, that, mate. How are you, mate? Yeah, how are you getting on? Yeah? What are you doing with yourself now?
Oh, down that slippery slope route.
Yeah. No good, is it?
No, it's fucking shite.
How much are you using now?
3 bags a day.
Do you not want to try and get away from it though?
John, yeah, of course it's him.
You want to really get off it and you want to hands, I'll help you, mate.
John, thank you.
I'll help you all day long.
Right, you've got better for age, you're like a good bottle of you know.
Oh, Neil, I love you, mate. Oh, and you, Neil. Love you loads, mate. Take care, mate. Ta-ra, lad. That's just shocked the fucking life out of me. I just feel a bit tingling on me. Neil was one of my mates growing up. I didn't even recognise him at first.
How old is he?
Fucking shocked. Probably same age as me.
No, he's not.
Yeah. It's just crazy, honest to God. Shocked me, it has. Lovely fella, him as well. Still is.
Of those kids that you used to knock around with, how many of them are dead?
Probably 12. Should we get moving on?
'89 is a key year for Liverpool. '89 is the key year because, you know, we had Hillsborough.
The death toll from this afternoon's stadium disaster stands at 93. All Liverpool supporters.
Everybody was affected. The city was affected. And after Hillsborough, so many people and so many things changed. The city had seen such loss of jobs, then loss of people, loss of families. You know, people went to a football match and never came home. People wanted to forget. People wanted to lose themselves in something else, to not feel pain. And then this drug popped up, a small tablet, which created happiness.
I was in America at the New Music Seminar. I was wearing a suit and a young man came up to me and said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a DJ. I play at a club called The State in Liverpool in England." And he said to me, "Do you play house music?" And I said, "No, I don't think so. I actually don't know what house music is." And he said to me, "House music is like a cross between Philly soul and New Order." Then I went to a record store called Downstairs Records, which was actually upstairs. First heard a DJ mixing house music. I realised this is the future.
And then when Ecstasy appeared, it all kind of came together with the music.
Goosies, mate. Oh, I'll probably start crying now. Andy Carroll. First DJ I heard to play this.
As soon as Ecstasy happened, it was like it went from black and white to colour. Suddenly this music turned into another, all the dimensions suddenly opened up. We'd never heard sounds like this before. Wow, this record sounds 10 times better than it ever did.
I went to the State when I was 15. Opened up a whole new fucking world. It's just like a melting pot of all these mad people. Grown men dancing on speakers, shouting acid, having the best time of their lives. Never seen people like that in Liverpool. I've never seen a fella in makeup. I've never seen many black men. You know, simple as that. I was just a kid from Norris Green, like. And then I went to the fucking State. It was just like, wow. Walked up that corridor and I was like, what the fuck's that noise? And it just fucking sounded amazing, like, you know what I mean? We shared a fucking pill. I didn't know what fucking hit me, like. It was just rushes and rushes and rushes. I just started dancing. Next thing you know, the fucking house lights are coming on. 4 hours are just gone. And then, oh man. Immense, mate. Immense. Life was so negative until I came through that door, mate. I've never felt belonging like I've felt when I walk through that fucking door. As soon as I walked through that door, I felt like I was at home. I actually felt at ease in this club, and I've never felt at ease in this city.
The arrival of Ecstasy was the catalyst for change, because people wanted just to go out and have a good time, to dance, to forget it all, and that allowed them to do it.
Most of them didn't see themselves as drug users. Druggies are them people who stick needles in themselves and die and get AIDS and all that. These were happy, shiny, teenage kids going out and having the time of their life, a lot of fun. But nobody knew what it was and what the potential harms might be. Taking a tablet that their mate said is great.
We will always see opportunity as a people in Liverpool, and Ecstasy was an opportunity. When there's so many people participating in something, there's money to be made. Whenever there's money to be made, and if it's criminal money to be made, that's when it's going to get interesting. And that's what happened with Ecstasy.
Get in, lads. Just in time.
Oh, lads, Sam.
Busy to have a field day in here, Robbie. You worry too much, mate. Latest batch is ready. Kev's just had one. Feel anything yet?
It's only been 20 minutes.
If we want to start making proper money, we need these to work. That's cost us $2.5 grand.
They will work.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Look, I'm going to need your help tonight.
Listen, I'm telling you, 6th time lucky.
That's what you said with the last lot, knobhead. Who are they from?
Jimmy.
For fuck's sake, lad.
Well, I couldn't say no, could I? I reckon we needed the dough, so we get these pills right.
But from Jimmy? I thought we agreed no more dealing in clubs.
How many are even in here?
500. But you'll spin them on tonight.
Fuck me, Paulie.
What, lad?
Hey, lads, can we go raving, please?
Yes! Yes, see? I told you they'd work, lad. Brains, my son, I never fucking doubted you.
Well, I am a genius, aren't I? Seriously, lads, can we go raving? I'm off me fucking barnet!
Yes!
I remember the first time I ever went out to the club properly to take an E. A place called Quadrant Park. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. It was just chaotic. Probably got to be at least 2,000 people in there. There was glow sticks, whistles, the way they were all dancing, sweating. I was thinking, what the fuck's this? And everyone was just dancing everywhere, hugging you, and you're like, fucking hell. I thought they were all a gang of fucking dickheads. And I think everyone in the world did. And then you'd have your little half a pill. So you're sitting there, you got a bottle of water or something in your hand, you'd be like, yeah, shit this. And your mates are going, yeah, I think it's shit, innit? And then your body would start tingling a little bit. And you'd be going to your mates, I think I feel this. And because of the music and the beat, you're just sort of feeling it. And then within 20 minutes, you're right up there. It was banging. Dancing everywhere like a lunatic. And then you probably come round about an hour and a half later going, what the fuck was that? Here's the other half, bang. The best buzz you'd ever get. It was a love drug.
It was weird to get used to at first, because when you grew up in a world where heroin was bringing misery to Liverpool, ecstasy was bringing happiness. And you're actually seeing people and culture change.
If I had to pick a particular era, best years of my life, it would be what we would term the rave era. Phenomenal. Big flared jeans, bright chippy jumpers, more favoured by the Merseyside Select. Upmarket shell suit, that's a classic one from 1991. Reebok was massive in Liverpool. They were particularly big at the outdoor raves. But listen, if they bounce into the gaff and something like this, they're getting legged out of town. The quad, at first, was another level. It was amazing.
I walked in and I couldn't believe what I could see. There was men dancing with each other. You know what I mean? That was unheard of. Some of the most violent people, normally in the 80s, were hugging and kissing you. You think, fucking hell.
If you were still taking trips or whiz, you were a bit of a meth, because you had to have a knee. You were that strong, a whole one of them. You're running around the world backwards. But a whole E, it's like 40 quid. That's like best part of a Barber jacket or a pair of new Adidas from Wade Smith.
So if we had no money, we'd go out and do what we called a Maddie.
Sorry?
We were that desperate on Friday night, if we had no money, we'd go out to Warrington or somewhere and we'd do a ram raid. We'd just run into a shop and take a rack of clothes just to get our money, because you couldn't miss it. You could not go a weekend. If you were skint, you had to do something. It was that good. We had to get out on a Saturday night at all costs or that's unthinkable.
I actually found it a bit frightening. It was so wild. And it put me off trying ecstasy.
I was just put off by the price at first, because I just thought, I'm not paying £25 for that little thing. And then when I finally had one, I was like, oh my God, I'd pay 50 quid for that.
The first time I took a tablet, as it came on, I had a panic attack. And I truly believed I was going to die. And I lay down on the floor in this nightclub. And I thought to myself, what a squalid death. And then the next thing, a pill just went, bing! And that was it. It's unbelievable.
9 times out of 10, everyone who had an E in them days would tell you it was probably one of the best nights of their life.
After that first night, what point did you think, you know what, there's money to be made here, lad?
Fucking hell, the next day. All of these young people. You know, you could sell hundreds in there. So the second time I went to the quad, that's when I went with a bag of pills. Took 150 between 3 of us.
At £20 a pop?
£20 each, yeah.
That's 3 grand's worth of pills. And what'd you pay for them?
Think about that time, probably about 12 quid. We were into drugs and stuff at the time, so for us it was, fucking hell, look at the money that could be in this now. In the early days, you'd get 10 of yous, you'd all have 200 tablets each, and then we'd watch over them selling them, you see. So we'd done the dirty work first, got a reputation for selling goods, ecstasy and stuff like that, and then we had our own punters out then selling them for us. When you're 18, 19, you're still learning a lot of the trades and stuff like that, and by the time I was 23, 24, we were fucking smashing it. It's probably like a group of 20 of us that used to all put our money in and buy like 10, 20, 30,000 of them. It was big money. What does money bring? It brings you coats, it brings you clothes, it brings you footwear, it brings you cars, it brings you nice furniture in your house and stuff like that.
The concept of a drug dealer became a culture. It became a lifestyle.
In a sense, there was something evangelical about selling ecstasy. You were doing a good thing for people. If they hadn't had it for the first time, you'd want to turn them on. Because this is so good, you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to do you a favour. But what happened was that demand outstripped supply. in terms of quality. For the first year, they were reasonably good quality. And then it took off, and when it became more popular, the production of Ecstasy couldn't keep up with the demand for it.
So you started making your own pills?
Yeah.
Just talk me through the decision to start making your own pills.
Money. Money makes the world go round. When you're a scouser and you come from a council estate and you're making money, you want to try and capitalise on it, don't you? So everything we tried to do was capitalise on it. So for us, basically, it was get a pile of drugs, try and make a bit more out of it. If you have to dance on it, as we'd say, you dance on it.
Dance on it?
Means bash it.
Bash it?
Yeah. Take some out, put some in, and make some more money. Increase the quantity and decrease the quality. But as long as you still get a buzz out of it or a hit out of it, then it's doing its job, innit?
I enjoyed this. You having one?
Nah, not until we sold them all. Be careful.
What?
You've had one, haven't you? Get off your fucking barney.
Yeah, man. Get on this. Nearly sold a lot.
Yes,
people!
That's that way, dickheads.
When you're kids, you'd always talk about having a big car, or you'd always talk about having a big house or nice clothes and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's all we did as kids, like. And then by the time I was 24, I was earning that much money. I didn't know what to do with it. I was spending it silly. Buy trainers, you'll buy trackies, you'll buy a watch, you'll buy a car, you'll buy an house. And then before long, your neighbours, your mates, everyone, they see all you driving around in nice cars and that, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of it becomes jealousy then.
John was one of them. He was just like, you know, flash Harry. Just had a lot of excess cash around him, do you know what I mean? I always remember him driving along with his nice big extravagant shades on, you know what I mean? He's always tanned and like, he was always, you know what I mean? But he looked the part. I was a young teenager, and I probably aspired to the likes of him. I probably wanted to like the big cars, and so Ecstasy was a means to an end. He started to go into the state, and after going in a few times, one of the doorman, he said, "Yeah, take them. There's 10 of them for 70 quid. Give us 70 quid, you make 100 quid." So we're making a little bit of money doing that, and then we've sourced our own supplier.
So the bouncer has confiscated those from somebody.
Yeah.
And given them to you to sell?
Yeah, that's what it would have been, yeah.
But how did the bouncer know you were the one to...
Because at that time I was just mad, young, angry, and I wouldn't bow down to anyone. You gain respect from being like that, do you know what I mean? And then I sold the tablet to someone in the state, and he went, 20 quid each for these in the Isle of Man. And that was it, my entrepreneurial side. I was like, I'm going to the Isle of Man. I went to the Isle of Man on 33 tablets in my pocket, me and my mate, 16. We had ecstasy tablets and a fiver. We went in, club, within an hour, we had like 600 quid in our pocket. We'd done that for a number of weeks. Just young, naive, stupid, really, just kids, you know, just blasé, thinking that we were untouchable. And then we ran out of ecstasy tablets. Phoned me mum.
Sorry? Your mum?
Me mum. Mum, do us a favour, if you get something dropped off to you, would you bring it over for us on the boat? So she brought 150 tablets over. She got off the boat, come into the flat where we were. But what I didn't know was that the busies were watching through the windows. It was just all seen on camera, you know what I mean? Because they'd seen us passing Class A drugs to each other. We'd done 2 weeks only, man, me and my man. Saying goodnight to me mum in the prison. I was in the juvenile wing, she was in the adult wing. Not many people have been to nick with their mum or got their mum nicked. No, I think I might go in to get a book of records for that.
By the time 93 came about, the drug scene had just gone through the fucking roof, mate. Kids who were going out with 50 pills in the pocket in the fucking States. These same kids now are going out with fucking 1,000, 2,000 pills in the pockets, you know what I mean? Fucking clearing up. Walking out with fucking 5,000 in the pocket, made profit.
The business was growing across the board, bringing a huge amount of people into the city. Just absolutely a massive amount, travelling from all over the country. Liverpool became that destination. And it just spiralled. You were getting clubs which were out 4 nights a week till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. You were getting all-nighters once a month in clubs.
The whole mood changed, the real crime element started to come into it there. Little gangs of scallies getting onto the fact that there was loads of out-of-towners in there that you could rob from, take the clothes off if you wanted, the drugs, the money, whatever. I
mean, there was kids turning up with paracetamols and selling them to the out-of-towners who were off the face already. And one story, I always remember some kids sold some worming tablets to some kids from out of town. And when the kids from out of town come back demanding the money, these kids who'd sold the worming tablets said, "Go away, mate, you're barking up the wrong tree."
If you got caught selling in the quad, the bouncers would not let you back in that club unless you were selling drugs for them. Because what they used to do was confiscate drugs off the fucking punters coming in and then give it to their lads to sell in the club. They had to do it because the fucking club was that fucking good. You know? They didn't want to miss out.
Bouncers were up to fucking all kinds in clubs. That's the way it was. You know, I'm not saying every bouncer was, but in them days, it was a big business. It was a massive business.
I wouldn't take no crap off anyone, like. Even though I'm just little old me, sweet and innocent, you know, I can pack a punch. I can, if I want to. I was just this little girl working on the door type thing. I loved being classed as a bouncer. I just loved it, loved everything about it. And there's nothing nasty about me, do you know what I mean?
But you have to look after yourself if you're a doorwoman.
Oh, yeah, but I never had no fights with girls. I've had more fights with men than girls. Do you know what I mean? I was there to search the girls, and anyone that came in with anything, it would go in the box behind the counter.
They've been quite a popular box.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I've heard stories that if you got caught by the bouncer would take the drugs off you and say, right, now you're dealing for me, or you leave.
Yeah.
You heard
well,
that?
I never heard none of that. It obviously went on. I'm not saying it didn't. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, there was doormen in there that did want a snatch of the patch type of thing.
Snatch of the patch?
Yeah, snatch the patch. They wanted to snatch the patch. If people were drug dealing, the doorman obviously wanted to take that patch off them. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. Everybody wanted to make money. And they seen that house music and ecstasy was a way of making money.
That's when, I think for a lot of people, the shine came off because of the commercialisation, because of dodgy tablets.
You had a drug which brought people together, which made people be happy, but then there was a fear which started to come with it, and that's when you start to see people getting hurt.
Ecstasy is the fastest-selling drug, outstripping by far anything else.
Doctors are warning it can have long-term physical and psychiatric effects, and it can be lethal.
Suddenly this wonderful, huggy, lovey, happy drug wasn't completely harmless, wasn't completely risk-free. There were consequences attached to it, possibly death.
Researchers say during 1990 and 91, there were 7 deaths and 17 other cases of severe poisoning, all directly connected with the drug.
They had taken between 1 and 5 tablets of ecstasy. Their body temperature went up and up, blood stopped clotting, they had convulsions, and they died. People can get depression, flashbacks, panic attacks. It's possible that many people's lives may be wrecked in the long term due to taking this drug short term.
By 1995, the Home Office estimated 1.5 million people were using ecstasy every weekend. But the police were very, very slow to latch onto it from a law enforcement perspective. So the sellers had carte blanche. And when you have an illegal market that's not being heavily policed, that's Christmas for the drug dealers.
I don't think it was realised how prolific ecstasy is going to become as a drug. I think we had bigger issues with other drugs. I mean, although it was Class A then, they were thinking more on heroin, the problems with burglaries in the city and stuff like that. Ecstasy definitely wasn't a priority then.
Why do you think that was?
I don't think they understood what ecstasy was as a drug, what it did to people, you know, and the effects it had on people. It wasn't until they saw the profits being made from it and the rival gangs controlling clubs that they realised probably the importance of why these gangs wanted to take over the clubs, because they were going to make a massive profit using their dealers to sell the drugs inside.
Ecstasy was essentially an end product. You have to see the whole environment around it. So where would you use ecstasy? In a nightclub. So how could you generate money in a nightclub? Through a bar, through an admission, through security. A lot of time the people who controlled the door were the people who also could potentially control the supply of drugs within the place too. That's where there was money. If you could control the club, you could control the door, you could control who was selling the drugs in there, you could control everything about it. The amount of money you could make was huge at that point. We're not talking £5 on a pill, we're talking, you know, 50, 60, 100, £250,000 a night potentially.
Control the door, control the floor.
Simple as.
Lad, we know what you've been doing, been clocking it all night. So I'm going to give you one chance. Who are you grafting for?
I don't know what you're on about, mate. They're just mine. The money. Just me wages. I got paid today. Honest.
Do I look like a dickhead? Do I look like I've got a fucking dick on my head? Think it's fucking funny? Hey, think I'm fucking around? Got a family, son?
Yeah.
But you've let your father down. You've let your mother down. You got any brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
Let your brother down. And you've let your sister down. So for the last time, who are you grafting for?
I don't know his name. But that there is his money.
Only more of it. Yeah, fuck off. There.
sorry, Jimmy. They took the lot. They even took my Rockports. Only bought them yesterday as well. Fucking twats.
Took your shoes, eh, lad? Unbelievable.
You don't have to take me home, you know. I can find my own way.
That him there, lad? The one with the baldy head?
Yeah. You don't want me to...
Stay there. I'll sort this, lad.
Hey, Jimmy, try and get me Rockports back as well. My feet are fucking freezing.
You all right, lad?
You take that.
You ask them. Him? Yeah, him. What's it to do with you? Take it off, lad. Mate, you can't be fucking grafting in there. Says who? Mate, listen, don't start coming over here now. Just fucking do one. Fucking hand. Fucking do one, lad. Mate, you're a fucking prick. Fuck off.
No, no, no!
When two men were thrown out of a Liverpool nightclub, the whole episode was filmed by security cameras. As James Connolly crashed to the ground, his friend Darren Delahunty became agitated and shouted the words, "We'll be back."
I think the concept of door wars came naturally because that's what would happen whenever there's that much money involved, whenever there's egos involved, whenever there's men involved. It's always going to be a situation which will spiral out of control, and I think that's how it happened. The nature of people in general, when you're protecting a territory, it becomes tribal. And clubs essentially became very tribal.
Good knee. Good elbow. Back up.
In the 80s in Liverpool city centre, you could count the amount of nightclubs which had a late licence on one hand. You'd need multiple hands by the mid-90s. It had this exponential growth because of the market for ecstasy. And you needed security for the clubs. So it was natural that they were going to be drawn from certain areas to criminality. And that's what a lot of the trouble came out of. Criminals using security firms as a front to make huge, huge money. And when you've got egos, when you've got something to lose, that's when there's always going to be trouble. And that's when, conflict arises.
People that were most effective in this new club environment were the people who were the hardest and most violent. The law-abiding security companies were finding themselves increasingly getting squeezed out by the criminal security companies. And the criminal security companies were quite happy to sell this new drug, ecstasy, and any other drug that they could.
Dorman actually blocked dealers going in. And then within a couple of hours, 30 or 40 doormen from another door company will come round and say, "You're off this door now, lads, we're doing it. Our dealer's in." If they're on a door and some other door company comes to take it over, they've got two choices: walk away, lose their job, or fight.
You were going to war every night. And that's when you saw an element of militarisation of doormen. You had doormen wearing vests, Kevlar gloves. It's an ad hoc army, or several of them at one point in one place at one time. That's a recipe for disaster.
All of a sudden, there was something you'd never seen in these places before, which was fights, stabbings, attacks.
It was just chaos. Everything in the club scene sort of changed.
You could say it was over. The genuine feeling of all being as one, pulling in the same direction, do anything for anybody. It was like the bubble had been burst, and it was revert to type. Everybody trying to rob everybody, everything becoming about money, territory.
When it was bad, fuck me, it was horrific. So it's guns and money. Guns and money. That's when it turned. I remember saying it to someone, this is how it's going to go. And that was it. After that, it was a roller coaster. At least 3 years I never slept in the same place, ever. I used to have rest on 24 hours a day.
And then it's one thing people don't talk about, but it's the fear in that game. That price you pay is not worth it at all. The waking up in the night, the general fear.
There have been more than 80 serious shootings on Merseyside in just 18 months.
The violence got completely out of hand.
5 people have been shot in just 2 incidents, escalating violence as scores are settled in full-scale gun battles.
Shootings, stabbings, firebombings, 3 or 4 very high-profile murders.
35-year-old David Angie paid with his life, shot as he drove through the notorious Liverpool 8 district 3 weeks ago.
You know, for the first time, we had armed police as standard in the city. You know, to put it the nicest way, the shit got serious at that point. And it went to a level of which it never went back down from. It only went one way after that.
I've got some amazing memories that'll never go from me, but I've got some terrible memories that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. Seeing people getting stabbed, people getting shot, and guns were out all the time and stuff like that.
You've had guns pulled on you?
Yeah, that was a long time ago, that was there's a part of my life I don't really want to talk about, but I'm here today, so I'm happy. Scary, but I'm happy.
The legacy, I think, of Ecstasy is as the opening act, if you like, for cocaine. The guys who arrived in Liverpool with the explosion of the cocaine trade were ruthless people who were just out there to make millions.
People used to come over and pay fortunes in suitcases. You could go to bed broke and wake up a millionaire.
To meet the Cali cartel, you know this guy is big.
People killing it and reveling in the misery of others.
If there is a devil, I really believe that he has a crack pipe in his hand.
Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. I owe my soul to the company store.